Hey guys, how are we doing? And welcome back to another episode of Kagurabachi Chapter Review. Today we're going to be going over Chapter 48, the Kokugoku Steam Squad. And it's a pretty big setup chapter, I will not lie to you, because the events of the next couple of chapters are definitely going to be what I'm tuned in for. But hey, I think the chapter does a great job of setting up the amount of stakes and tension that's built up, and I'm excited to get into it with you guys. So first things first, make sure you stop all the presses, hit that like button, and subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss a single other Kagurabachi review and or any other series that you might read weekly or monthly. Most importantly, thank you guys for watching. So the chapter kind of picks up exactly where we left off last chapter, where basically Chihiro, Uruha, and Hikari are on the train on their destination to a temple that's going to keep everyone safe. Chihiro explains that they're just going to wait until the next stop, let all the passengers off, and then ride the train safely. And it's pretty clear that Iruha's fixation with Rokuhira, as we got last chapter and found out about, is really spilling full tear over onto Chihiro, because when Chihiro was like, oh, you know, it's possible that I could be an imposter. Why are you so willing to accept me? Uruha is literally like, no, you are not Rokuhira's son. You're not an imposter. I know that for a fact. You are literally the reincarnation of Rokuhira. You have the exact same vibe, the exact same eyes and everything, which I feel like is crazy to the audience like us, because we've only seen Rokuhira act like a goofball, an absolute fool. So it's crazy to me that think the badass, super serious Chihiro reminds Uruha of Rokuhira, but I absolutely digress. Chihiro actually remembers Uruha from way back when. He saw a bunch of pictures and everything like that of Rokuhira and Uruha hanging out together. Uruha is just happy that Rokuhira, you know, had that memorabilia. He's happy that Chihiro even remembers him. And Uruha immediately does not need any introductions or doesn't need to get acquainted. He's already accepted Chihiro as this person he's been friends with for years now, and is like, let me see Enten. Oh my god, I need to pat this Enten and see its true authentic work. Oh, I love Rokuhira so much. And like, Hikari's a little weirded out by all of this simping, but I would like to remind everyone that Hikari literally was the resident Chihiro simp last arc, and I feel like it's pretty clear that literally all of apparently Chihiro's allies, apparently in Kagurabachi, are just going to be affected by Chihiro in this way. His aura is contagious, apparently. But after the 18 years that Uruha wasn't able to see Rokuhira, it just makes him delighted to know that while Rokuhira was off in hiding, because Uruha kind of confirms that the Kamunabi wasn't really the best of the best guys, as much as they did to hide all the enchanted blade wielders, hide Rokuhira. Part of the Kamunabi were still trying to steal the enchanted blades for themselves and take over Rokuhira. Maybe, who knows, if we waited a couple more years, maybe the Hishaku wouldn't have taken down Rokuhira. It might have been the Kamunabi themselves, because again, the world government seems a little sus. Chihiro is right to oppose them, and even Uruha mentions that it was probably a good idea for Rokuhira to go in hiding. Chihiro reveals it's been over 3 years since his death, and while it was a good time spent with his dad, he basically just catches Uruha up to speed on the Rakuzaichi, Sojo, the Datenseki crystals, everything like that, because while Uruha was able to see the Datenseki crystals in action, it is kind of crazy that they were able to get so many of these crystals mass produced in such a quick amount of time that all rival the enchanted blade's power. Like, it is so dangerous. Not even just because we saw Tenri almost die or basically fade away and melt away, lose all of his spirit energy because of using it, despite how strong he got. So the fact that if this is really the case, their only weapons are that compared to the enchanted blade are Flamebone and Enten. If the Hishaku has hundreds of these things, they're going to be just a little bit outnumbered, which Hikari is, of course, the first person to realize. He's always using that big noggin of his. That's all he can do right now, since he can't exactly fight, which we'll see happen later on in the chapter. The worst part about the Datenseki crystals is that as long as they can continue hiring these random assassins to use them, the Hishaku themselves don't really ever have to come out of the shadows and fight themselves. They can just keep letting these soldiers do all the hard work for them. Even though Chihiro does admit that apparently one Hishaku member showed up to kidnap them, Uruha corrects him and says he showed up to literally just drop them off. He literally wasn't even a part of the attack. So we are up against some pretty stacked odds, especially considering that the Kamunabi, the people that we're working for currently, really aren't even our friends right now, right? Like, we're kind of like on a very thin ice relationship as it is. Half of that higher up group wants to kill us. Yeah, it's pretty rough, but Uruha challenges that and says Chihiro and Hakori's calculations are all wrong. The Hishaku's plans are gonna fail because in Uruha's mind, they already have. He escaped, and with the amount of faith that he has on the Guardians that he spent 3 years with, he knows that they'll be able to do something and stop the plan entirely with the Hishaku. Uruha's not the least bit worried, which, you know, W friend, he definitely has confidence in them, and Chihiro even questions this, and he's like, are you sure they can, like, you know, do something about this? We flash back very quickly to those elite sorcerers in the Guardian. As soon as Uruha escapes, they immediately start fighting for their lives and actually doing pretty well against the Hishaku assassins. Uruha basically confirms that as long as they're just, you know, third-rate, regular, you know, mercenaries that are posing as assassins and sorcerers for the Hishaku, they stand no chance against this elite guard, you know, specifically because even with the Datenseki crystals boosting their strength, the elite soldiers may not be stronger, they may not be faster, but they have much better teamwork, much better coordination skills. Sincerely speaking, Uruha has full confidence they're going to be able to kick this bucket and win. And for a hot minute, we really truly do believe that, because we get multiple pages of them not only just winning against the Hishaku assassins, but basically clearing the entire temple and saying, hey, beat everyone. Let's go surprise Uruha at his destination. He'll be so happy to see all of us. And you know what? Honestly, that sentiment is great. And it is really sad what ends up happening to these guys in the long run, because they did seem like they were good guys. They did seem to have a good relationship with Uruha. And you know what? You really do love to see stuff like that. And it's a shame that Uruha had to lose even more friends, not just Rokuhira after 15 years, but after this, he loses these guardians that he's had and spent all his days with for 3 years now. And the amount of emotional stability he holds when seeing them die is to be commended, because basically what ends up happening as the train starts to slow to a stop, Hakori realizes that, you know, there's not really that many people at the station. We didn't tell everyone to evacuate yet. And then we cut to 2 new characters that are introduced here. The person that we see talking, saying that they didn't think this would be, you know, a fit type of job, but with the Datenseki thing, they were easily able to kill all of these elite sorcerers. The guy with the Hishaku member, as we find out, admits that they seem happy. And they reveal that Yura, most likely the leader of the Hishaku, or maybe one of the leaders, has spent all of this time prepping and making everyone wait, essentially, for 3 years before they actually moved and started their big plans to steal the rest of the enchanted blade wielders now that they have the regular enchanted blades. So this person, who we find out is called Hirohiko, I believe, they are happy now that they can finally start moving, acting, and start fighting. They even mention that despite one of the people they're fighting against being the Enten, they go, I mean, we can just avoid Enten. We'd only have to kill Kumayori or Uruha. Shows how devious they actually are. And then Hirohiko reveals the incapacitated and possibly dead bodies of all those elite guardians from the Kokugoku temple that were very happy to meet up with Iruka at his train stop, which is just sad. The worst part is this was all the plan along. Hirohiko admits that they worked hard to get all 4 of these dead bodies here, so that way Uruha and Chihiro would just run right at them immediately without any thought. This was the one part of the plan that they didn't expect, was that Chihiro has unstoppable aura. Chihiro and the Rock are 2 people that can dap each other up on the fact that they must have the same can never look weak clause in their actor contracts, because almost every week Chihiro's got a stunt on some character. It's impossible that we get a chapter that it doesn't have that. As the chapter ends, this new Hishaku member, Hirohiko, says, oh, very interesting that you guys were able to hold frame. Let's see where this goes. And the fight begins. So let's see where this goes. Chihiro is going to be fighting an actual honest-to-God Hishaku member, and it won't be the leader this time. So maybe they'll be a little bit weaker. Maybe Chihiro's evolution is going to pay off and he's going to do a lot better. We'll have to see. But I know I'll be here next chapter to discuss it. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much. Hit that like button again if you haven't already. Subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss any future reviews or other series you may read weekly. Check out the main channel if you want to see some more polished, more video essay type content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.